Hey everyone, I'm Aditya, an AI engineer based in San Francisco. Along with my teammates, I created Math Matrix movies at a hackathon in SF on May 11th, 2024. Today, I'd like to show you what our project can do because I think it's really cool. What it does is that it generates really cool math explainer videos in a truly unique style that is able to get concepts across visually. This is something that I think is really unique that you may never have seen before. So AI hackers, let's start with a live demo. In our demo, I decided that perhaps we should talk about probability. This year, only 10% of the applicants for speakers at this AI Engineers World's Fair were accepted to speak on stage. I didn't make the cut, which is why you're watching me on this recording. Now, there's no hard feelings, but I'm ambitious, and so I want to try again for next year and the year after that. So let's assume that next year the acceptance rate for talks falls to 7%. Do my odds of getting in increase or decrease now that I didn't get in? Also, if the year after that the acceptance rate is just 5%, what if my odds of getting in at least one of the 2 years? Now watch. I'm going to enter that as a prompt into Math Matrix movies. It's going to take that whole math problem, and it's going to generate a great math explainer to explain the whole situation right back to us. And at the end of this video, you're going to see what it's done. In the meanwhile, while that prompt is put in and it generates, let me show you a clip from one of our already published videos on sigmoid functions. Watch now how the math video explains how the shape of a sigmoid curve changes based on the equation used to draw it. Check it out.
Now, let's look at the math. Don't be scared, it's simpler than it looks. This is the formula for a sigmoid. It uses e, a special number like pi, and x can be anything we want. If we change the x part of the formula, we can move the curve around. Here, we added a -2 and look, the curve shifted. We can do lots of cool things by changing this formula, but the S shape always stays the same.
Crazy, right? So how does that work? Well, we have to thank the math-educated genius Grant Sanderson, aka 3 Blue 1 Brown, because he created all his amazing math videos by writing his very own math animation library in Python, and it's called Manim. Under the hood, Manim uses a 2D graphics library called Cairo to generate most of the drawings and the animations. And then it uses the very powerful command line tool ffmpeg to combine those animations as well as voiceovers and other elements such as latex equations into compelling math videos. So here, in this case, you can check out the code for a simple movie where we try to animate 5 + 3 = 8 for 6-year-olds by using 2 groups of 5 red apples and then 3 green apples and then combining them into one row of 8 apples. So let's see how Manim actually does this. So it's a simple block of Python code. For each section, there's a voiceover, which is created by Azure TTS. And within that section, within that scene, we actually are able to lay out the elements and, enumerate them using an array and animate them and move them around all in one block of Python code. So this 1 or 1.5 minute movie that explains 5 + 3 = 8 to 6-year-olds is just maybe 30 lines of Python. And what we do in our project is we use Google's Gemini to actually generate this code. So if many of you are like me, you struggle with visualizing and contextualizing the math and algorithms behind the river of information flowing at us as AI engineers every day. I often find myself wondering about something I read in the Latent Space podcast or saw on Twitter or talked about with a colleague, but I lack the right words or formulas to make my intuition explicable and testable. And here, Math Matrix movies is like a godsend. It's like you gave Google's Gemini a whiteboard and said, teach me at my level. In our user testing, we've given the kid to a 7-year-old and watched them generate movies over and over in different variations. Explain 22 times 22 to me, with apples, with fish, with TVs. So it's pretty crazy. It's an education hack that opens up a vista into how AI tutoring can enable accelerated learning of concepts. So now let's take a look at the output of that prompt that we put in earlier. This is a slightly different version of the prompt. I just did it again because I lost that page. So it's taken the prompt and it's created a video. It actually creates the video and then it watches the video again and improves it and studies it for overlaps and occlusions. Gemini's vision is good, but it's not great. It has a lot of gotchas. But let me show you what the final output is like. And, with a few more iterations, it would get even better. And as it is, this is pretty good. I'm going to increase the speed so that it goes pretty quick. Here's our final video for now.
Rejected from AI Engineers World's Fair, sad face. But what about next year and the year after that? Let's assume the acceptance rate for talks falls to 7% next year. Let's visualize this. Each square represents an applicant, and there are 100 applicants in total. The green squares show the 7 applicants that get accepted. The year after, let's assume that the acceptance rate falls to 5%. Again, each square here represents an applicant, and we still have 100 applicants. This time, only 5 applicants, shown in green, will be selected. Now, let's calculate the probability of getting my talk accepted in at least one of the next 2 years. The probability of not getting accepted year 1 is 1 minus the probability of getting accepted, which is 7%. Similarly, the probability of not getting accepted in year 2 is 95%. The probability of not getting accepted in either year is the product of the two probabilities we just calculated, which comes out to 88.35%. Finally, the probability of getting accepted at least once is 1 minus the probability of not getting in either year. That gives us a decent 11.65% chance. So, there's still a chance.
Yep. See you on the stage.
Brought to you by the power of probability. So, keep applying, keep learning, and who knows, you might just see me on stage next year.
Yep. Sure hope so. Hint, hint.
Rejected from AI Engineer.
Cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'd like to thank Baladurkesh, Lily, and Justin for bringing this project to life with me. Thank you for your attention, and please check out our videos on YouTube and fill out your math video requests at https://math.auto.movie. Thank you so much.